All right, man. Another episode. Give me some space. We back again for another week. Big guy, how you doing over there, man?
Hey, what's up, man? We blessed what we got. Let's get into it, man. I'm excited. I missed last week because thought it was 5:30, had some time management issues, but we ain't gonna cry over the spilled milk. We back this week. I enjoyed the episode with you and your mom last week, so we back this week though, man.
Oh yeah, it's all good, man. We got a good one. We got a good one. I don't
Mm-mm.
know. I don't know how this gonna translate over here. You know what I'm saying? But I think we should tap into this space a little bit because
Okay,
I think we got some interesting perspectives that we can get into here.
for
And
sure.
let's be give me some space to choose myself. Now, when I say that, it's 2022, and a popular thing is for a lot of people to say, it's not, you can always choose yourself. Don't feel bad about choosing yourself. Choose you, put yourself first. But
Mm-hmm.
what I don't think a lot of people understand and what comes with that is it's a lot of things that come with it as far as when you choose yourself, you're going to make a lot of people upset because now it's a lot of priorities that you were putting in front of yourself. And now you're putting yourself at the forefront. So it's a lot of changes that's going on
Mm-hmm.
around you because now you're changing that standard that we talked about. So let me ask you, when I say, give me some space to choose myself or you choose yourself, what does that really mean to
To me, bro, like space to choose myself, honestly, is space for me to be the best version of me. And again, notice I didn't say a perfect version. I said the best version of me that I can be because in allowing me to have that space to choose myself, the people that's in that circle we talked about in the first episode, and my family and my kid and my mom, and they're gonna reap those benefits because I'm being the best version of me. But a lot of times what we do is we put other things and we take on these titles and we put those things in front of who we actually are, and we're actually dying on the inside. We're actually not happy. A lot of times you'll see someone say, man, I'm 42 years old, I'm 43 years old, and I'm just not starting to live my truth. Like for me, I tell people anytime, I'm 32, man, and I feel like I'm just now coming into understanding who I am and starting to really like choose me and feel comfortable choosing me and doing what's necessary to protect my peace and do what's best for myself. But also that doesn't, again, I'm gonna have to bring this home. It's like just because I'm choosing me, you're choosing yourself, doesn't mean that you're totally being selfish, because you being the best version of you, your family is gonna get the benefits of that though.
you? So when
So
you say,
that's what I
so
mean.
do you feel like if you say you choose yourself now, do you feel like if you'd have made this choice 15 years ago, if you were 16 or let's say 21, and you say, I'm choosing myself, do you feel like you would have hit the same as it hit now?
No, because I didn't have enough life experience. Still young now. I mean, because you only learn through trials and tribulation. You learn through making mistakes, what not to do again. And guess what? Just because you make a mistake once, you might end up making it 3 or 4 more times before you actually get that lesson, correct, so you can get to that
True,
next chapter. Because
true.
so I don't, and that's I say it doesn't have an age limit on it, man. I don't think it has an age limit on it. Because like I just said, you can be sometimes some 21-year-old can, hey, they get it off the bat. They be like, hey, I'm choosing me. I'm gonna do what's best for myself. But then, of course, from families and careers and jobs and what have you, I think you have to be intentional. And a word I love to use now is being intentional with your actions. Just because you're intentional doesn't mean that you're not gonna hurt feelings. You're not
Right.
gonna make people upset. You're not gonna put people in uncomfortable situations. But I mean, I didn't intentionally do those things, right? So I have to intentionally focus on choosing myself so I can be the best version of myself, so my family and my friends can see me for that, and and again, they're going to get those benefits because I'm being the best version of me.
I think that's very important. How you said, by me choosing myself, me being the best version of myself, that means
Uh-huh.
everybody around me gets the best version of me. I don't think a lot of people understand that as far as what comes with that, as far as health wise. If I'm not healthy or
Mhm.
100% or close to it, you're not going to get 100% of me. So, and if I'm not what I need to be, everything else around me fails. Like I have to be the best version of myself in order to help the next person.
Period. I mean, like you just said, as far as health, man, if you trying to take care of your family, you trying to do things you got to do. If you working 2-3 jobs, you sleeping 2 hours a night, I gotta make ends meet. I gotta do this, do that. Hey, man, listen. My mom used to always say, when your mind catch up with your body, it's gonna shut down.
all the time.
And look, and I know, look, you know our lives, man. It'll shut down real quick. And I don't care how much you like to work out, how much you like to go. When your mind catch up with your body, it's gonna shut down. So the same thing is, you have to, be intentional, and you have to, continue to just, choose yourself, man, and be okay with that. And you choosing yourself, again, I'm gonna hop on this the whole time we doing this today, man.
Right.
You choosing yourself doesn't mean that you are displacing everybody else, that you're throwing everybody else to the wayside. It's critical for you to choose yourself and know who you are so that you can be the best version of yourself for everybody else.
And I think that's a common misconception is if I choose myself, you feel like I'm throwing you away.
Right.
And that's not the case. But let's back up for a second, because I feel like that's the end goal, to get there of saying I'm choosing myself. So what is a key step in your opinion that leads you on choosing myself? Like, how do I get to the point where I say, okay, I'm choosing myself?
Now, in choosing yourself is a word that starts with a capital A, accountability.
Mm-hmm.
If you, hey, you can say, I want, again, like you just said, it's 2022. It's this cliche of saying, hey, man, I'm choosing me. Hey, it's my peace. My this. But before all that, you need to be accountable for your stuff, bad or good. No, and again, it ain't Travis' fault. It ain't Travis' fault I'm in this predicament. Now, again, I'm gonna grow, but the first step in choosing yourself is being accountable for yourself, and knowing that we love to be accountable for the good. Hey, I lost 10 pounds while I was in that gym. But the next week later, I gained 7 pounds. Well, they shouldn't have brought all them donuts to work. You see how that narrative changed?
Yep.
When you lost them 10 pounds, that was great. You took accountability for those actions. Yep. But when you gained them 7 pounds, I'm blaming Travis because he brought them Krispy Kreme donuts into the office, and he must have just he pried my mouth open and put them inside. You know what I'm saying? It don't work that way. So you got to be accountable. That's the first step.
I think accountability is a very big issue with a lot of people because what it leads to is a lot of self-discovery. And when you get inside of that realm, you don't really understand exactly what you're capable of. So you actually get intimidated or scared to choose yourself because you don't even know what you're choosing, because you don't even know who you are. So that opens that door up for all of that. And I think also when you choose yourself, you have to be careful and understand that also you're choosing your mistakes as well, because you have to tap into that. You have to understand that just because I'm choosing myself now, that doesn't erase everything I did before this moment. I still got to fix all that stuff behind me that I'm carrying. Like, just because I choose this day to go forward and try to be right and do the right thing, that doesn't mean that covers up all the mistakes I made. I still have to make those things right.
Yep, that's it. And we talk about it all the time, man. Like, people because mindset, right? So accountability, and I'm gonna say the next step is mindset. Now the thing is, you may wake up, mindset can shift overnight. Man, I want to be better. I'm gonna start choosing me. But like you just said, it's not gonna change the 32 years, 33 years of stuff that you already had lined up before that you kind of, you fell into, and things just happen. So I mean, that's it. That mindset can change, but you still make sure that you're accountable for your stuff. Ain't nobody don't allow people to hold it over your head, but also just because they ain't holding over your head, you still need to acknowledge that it's there, and you need to make sure that and continue to move on from it,
because those things actually happened. You know what I'm saying? If you were a thief for 30 years, you still did those things. Like, you still were a thief. So just because you said, okay, I'm not gonna be a thief no more, I'm choosing myself, I'm gonna live a better life. Well, you still got some other people to prove that to, even though it's like, I ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. Well, sometimes you do, because it's the image that you've already portrayed. People know you as a thief. So now you have to change that in front of their eyes.
Yep, and that's when you got to kind of go into that spiritual realm and also ask, your prayers. You need to loop your prayers in to say, you know what, Lord, of course, I know you forgiven me, because again, there's no sin bigger than the other. But I'm asking you to, kind of soften their heart to say, hey, I am a changed person, and allow me those opportunities to kind of prove that to them through time. And we got to realize time is important too, because it took time for us to make those mistakes. It took time for us to make that resume. And what we always say, man, the same way your resume tells you what you have done, it also tells you what you haven't done either. And a lot of times we don't want to focus on the good. Your life resume will also tell you what you haven't done so well.
Yes, it definitely will. And to go along with that accountability, what I like to add to that is also, it kind of goes hand in hand, is discipline. Because some of those same issues are going to come up, and some of those same people that you used to hang with to do those same things with are going to be right there saying, why are you not doing it anymore? You know, come on, let's do this. So you're going to have that opportunity to say yes or no, because you're going to have to prove yourself that you're different, not to them, but to yourself, because it's so easy to go back into those habits.
Yeah, because again, what we always say, like what Mike Tyson say, everybody got a plan till you get punched in the mouth, right? You've been training a certain way. You say your mindset shifted. You say you're thinking different. You say I'm accountable now. But what's going to happen when the thing that you've been praying for, the thing you've been trying to work out of, those bad eating habits or those financial habits and things? Because again, we've all dealt with them. We all dealing with our stuff. Everybody, I don't care. You could take your favorite celebrity person. We all got circumstances that we're dealing with, that we're trying to come out of, right? So what's happening when those things are placed out in front of you again? Are you going to go back and, are you going to go right back and down that same path? Or are you going to pray even harder about it and say, hey, you know what? My mindset has shifted. I'm going to go through this, because it's important that those things are set before you again, because that's how you see, man. That's the test. That's the test. You don't want to be studying for 10 hours and never have to take a test.
No, you want to take the test at some point.
Yeah, you got to.
Now, I think a lot of people deal with it's more of like, it's like an identity crisis,
right?
Because it's like, who am I? Like even for the person that says I'm choosing myself, if you haven't done the necessary steps that we talked about before to actually know who you are, what are you choosing?
Yeah, because you don't know it. And again, like I said, my personal story, man. I tell people all the time, when you go through life and you have titles and you accomplish so much, you start thinking those things are you.
Yep.
You start thinking those things are you, and you start really kind of internalizing those things. And that's why you see people all the time who work jobs for 20 plus years and then they retire and they're like, what do I do now? Because that job, that title defined them, and they didn't have anything else outside of that. So now even they've been working, they're in their 50s and 60s searching, who am I? What do I have outside of this?
Right.
So I think it's critical, man, to kind of do that self-assessment, to be accountable, to, have that mindset shift. And like you just said, man, discipline is rough. Discipline is rough, because that is totally self-accountability, right? That is, are you going to hit that snooze button, or are you going to, do that extra, that extra shift, or are you going to make sure that you're going to read that extra book you said you was going to read? I mean, discipline is totally on you. It's totally on you, man.
It is, and that's why we can tap into, some of that workout stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because as far as discipline goes, what makes you wake up and not hit that alarm clock, hit the alarm clock again? Like, 4-5 days a week, whatever, you got various other things going on, your regular job and all this other stuff going on. How do you say, when this alarm clock goes off, I'm getting up?
Because I make it me personally, I make it a personal option of, I have to. There's no other way to do it, right? And I'm gonna leave with this. People say, y'all are early morning guys. Hey, listen, man, it ain't fun getting up at 4 a.m. I don't care what you say. Look, Army, whatever, it's not fun getting up at 4 a.m, especially at this time. It's 26 degrees outside. It's not fun.
I just went through 2 weeks of, hey, I commend you,
brother. Listen, it's not fun, dude. Like, I'm telling you, it is not fun. But what you got to tell yourself is this: what makes me get up, man, is just that I give myself, it's not an option. I have to get up. I have to get it done. And I got something I want to accomplish. And every day when look, Monday's cool. Tuesday's okay. Wednesdays, Thursdays, the roughest days of the week for me. Body beat down, mind beat down, ready for the weekend. But you still got to push through anyway. Still got to get out of that bed anyway. And I say, hey, just don't give yourself an option. In certain situations that you control, failure isn't an option. It's not an option. Mm-hmm. You control that. You control that alarm clock. Or did you stay up last night playing 2K or watching a game or talking to your friends or doing something? Or did you get in the bed on time? Or can you prep your food early? I mean, all those things, man. all of those things for me, kind of go into my level of discipline.
Because the same discipline that makes you get up is the same discipline that makes you go to sleep too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you got to go to bed at night. You got to go to bed at night too. Because I think back when I first, I guess you could say, because there's different levels of choosing yourself. Because yeah, you're one person, but there's different versions of yourself. Like who you are right now is not who you are when you're working out. It's a different version. So when I chose myself, as far as goes, I remember those humble beginnings, those early mornings of just running, not really knowing what I was doing. And that's a lot of people don't understand. That's what goes into it as far as when you really don't have a good grasp of where you're going.
Yeah.
Like
And
you
that's
kind of just moving, you know.
you're just moving, yeah. But the thing is, even when you're just moving, you kind of just going forward, right? And you're just making sure that just putting one foot in front of the other. Just sometimes in the process, man, you just gotta make sure you're not going backwards. That's it. Like, hey, I may not be, hey, I know I need to make the exit 100. I'm only on exit 1, but I know for a fact that if I turn around, I'm never gonna make it. But
Right.
I look, if I gotta crawl, if I gotta run, if I gotta take a step, I know that I need to be going forward. And your discipline is gonna help you do that. And again, all those things, accountability, mindset, discipline, taking those self-assessments, man. Like, I mean, choosing yourself sounds fun.
It sounds fun.
It sounds fun. It does. It sounds fun. And it's cliche. Social
It's
media,
such a cliche. Choosing
hashtag,
myself, putting
yeah.
myself first, but what all comes with that? That's what they don't understand. Like what comes with saying I'm choosing myself.
And what we said in the first episode, isolation too. Because guess what? In choosing yourself, everybody ain't gonna be on board with it because as long as people are receiving things from you, it's okay. Yep. Hey, I'm getting this from you. It may not always be monetary. It can be anything. As long as they're receiving a service from you, and then you start to choose yourself and you take that service away, then you'll start seeing how people, God will line things up for you perfect, man. You just gotta, gotta open your eyes and just see how he's, putting things before you.
You have to, because like you said, a lot of people are not going to go along with you choosing yourself. That's what you got to understand. Like I'm choosing my own happiness because like we said before, it sounds selfish. It sounds like a selfish thing to do. Like what would it feel like if everybody just said, I'm choosing myself?
I mean, and that would be, and the thing is, people say, well, it's selfish. Actually, because everybody's different people, but if everybody did choose themselves, you're getting the best version of everybody. Right. And honestly, me personally, for me and my circle, I think it's cool. I want you to choose you because you my guy. If you choosing yourself, and I'm choosing myself, we're getting the best versions of one another, and vice versa for whoever you're dealing with, your family, your friends, and people think, even as being a parent, like I have a daughter. I mean, with Jordan, man, look, Jordan needs me to choose myself. She's 3, but she needs me to be the best version of myself I can be, because I can't be an adequate father if I'm around here not choosing myself. If right. I want to do this, but I'm kind of being indecisive. And no, because how can I look her in her eyes and say, baby, listen, check it out. I want you to do X, Y, Z. Follow your dreams, do this and do that, be willing to sacrifice and do all these things that's necessary for you to be successful. And I'm over here not choosing myself. I'm over here, not being happy. I'm over here. No, it don't work that way, man.
It doesn't. So we've talked about what leads up to when we've talked about choosing yourself as a whole. So in your opinion, after you choose yourself, what's the next step? What happens next?
So it goes from the accountability phase, that mindset phase, and after you choose yourself, we got to be ready to double down on it. And what I mean by double down is to go into some goal setting and go into really just being willing to accept yourself, because you chose him. Now you need to accept it. You need to accept who you are, accept your flaws, accept your good, accept your bad, accept everything about you, and know that you're enough, and be okay with that. Because one thing I'm learning, look, even your best ain't gonna be enough for some people, and that's okay.
Nope, and that's okay.
And that's
because
okay.
That's my best. That's all I got. If all I got is not enough,
that's it.
Can't do nothing about that.
That's it. And so that's what we have to be okay. Why wasn't I enough? No, you ain't gonna be enough for everybody. You aren't gonna be everybody's cup of tea, and everybody's not gonna be yours, and that's okay.
No,
that's okay, right? That's okay for you to be in that space.
Yes,
It's okay for you to be in that space.
it has to be okay because I mean, if that was the case, then as far as flavors, it'll only be one flavor for everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I think that's the next step. But also, I think that's why people stop choosing themselves too, because they're not okay to be in that space. Because like they start wondering, well, why wasn't I good enough for Travis, or why wasn't I good enough for this person? Or no, again, choose yourself. Choose now. Again, it sounds good, but you need to be okay with choosing yourself and be
You have to
comfortable.
be okay with it
Yeah, you got to, and be okay making those necessary adjustments.
because you're not gonna get it right the first time. Like you're not gonna get it right. Even as far as saying I'm choosing myself with everything that comes along with that, you gotta understand you're not going to get it right. Nobody's perfect. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
gets it right the first time. So you gotta understand that you're gonna make mistakes. You gotta keep going, keep pushing forward. Just keep going. Don't stop.
And with no stop, man. A good friend of mine told me a couple weeks I was having a rough week. She told me, she said, keep showing up, and that's now become my mantra for the entire year.
That's a good one, though. It's a good one.
But keep showing up. People say, what does that mean? What I mean by keep showing up, man, is that no matter no matter what you're doing, keep showing up. Don't matter if you're showing up, sad, happy, angry. No matter what you're doing, just keep showing up. Because one thing's for sure, if I don't show up, I'm never gonna reach my goals. If I don't show up, I'm never gonna choose myself. So you just keep showing up. And before you can show up for someone else, you need to show up for you. And that's about choosing yourself as well. Don't be afraid to show up for you. When you start showing up for yourself and you consistently start showing up for yourself, then that's when you can start showing up for other people. But
Right.
it will be impossible. You can do it 1 or 2 times, but I'm gonna say it will be impossible for you to show up for other people, and you ain't even showing up for yourself yet.
Well, that's to me, that's kind of like you have to prove it to yourself first.
Yeah.
You have to be proven before others can really accept who you are. Like you have to prove it to yourself. Like, don't get me wrong, it doesn't matter if others accept you or not. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you have to prove who you are to yourself first. Like, can I really look myself in the mirror and say, I'm happy with what I see? Like, if you can't look yourself in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself and just
Right.
look at yourself and say, I'm happy with who I am. Like, I like you, then you're not doing something right.
Yep. And that's critical. And I mean, it's people that walk around, because I used to be one of them, man. I used to be one. You walk around and on the outside, you got it all together, right?
Yep.
You got the whole thing working. As the old people say, you got everything working. And
Oh, yeah.
everybody, I know Travis got it together. This guy got it together. And then the inside, you don't even like yourself. You didn't like the person that you are. You don't even know who you are to like, actually.
That's
So
true.
it's critical to go on that journey, man, that self-discovery journey. And guess what? In choosing yourself, it don't got no financial tag to it. It don't got no social, economical class to it. It don't got any of those things, right? Because everybody from every social class in the world all struggle with this problem. So this, I don't care, from the rich, from the middle class to the poor, everyone struggles with this
Yes.
at some point.
And I think a lot of people make the first mistake when choosing themselves is going public with it. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
public thing because it's a private situation that you got to deal with
Mm-hmm.
by yourself. So why go public and tell everybody I'm choosing myself? Like I'm done with it. I'm choosing my. It's nothing for you to broadcast.
Yeah, and the thing is this: sometimes, and again, they may be saying it because they need the external motivation. But the thing is that external motivation can be there, but in doing that, it's not going to help pull you through the fire.
Exactly.
It's like I tell people all the time when I'm getting ready to train them. People say, "How long you think we're going to be working out before I start getting a six pack or I start getting some muscles or da da da?" I say, "And working with me, the first 30 days, I don't even care what you look like physically. I need this to change." I need that mind to change. And once that mindset changes, saying, you know what, I'm going to show up when it's cold. I'm going to show up when it's raining. I'm going to show up when the elements aren't to my favor. Then we can start really honing in on those physical attributes, because now you got it. Now your mindset shifted and you're ready to go. Same thing about choosing yourself, man. It's cool on the outside to put on Facebook, hey, hashtag I'm choosing myself. But what you're going to do when friends start looking at you different, family start looking at you different, and you really get into that fire.
Yeah, now you're not getting invited to places,
Facebook can't pull you out of that.
No, it can't. And like you said, it's cool to have that external motivation, but it may be good, at first because people like new things. People like the new wave, you know. And so you may post it with the popular hashtag, and let's just say you get 72 likes and 36 comments on there, right? Hey,
Right.
you proud of you doing all this. That next week come in, you both know them likes from 72, you might have 7,
Yeah.
2 comments maybe. And so
Hmm.
if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, now you start looking like kind of lost, like, okay, why am I doing this? And I'm saying this because I've been through this where you post certain things and
And
you
you want it.
expect
Yep.
reaction. You want
Yep. You
people
want
to
a
react to
reaction.
what you say just so you can feel better about yourself. And you're not doing it for the right reasons.
Nope, not doing it for the right reason. And the thing is, and that's why you can, like we talk about it all the time, you can see what people are. And I'm not saying we're experts on anything. I
Not at
definitely
all.
me,
Not at all.
I'm not an expert on nothing. Honestly, I just know a little bit what I know about. And I tell people all the time, I see it. You know, they put this on social media, or they put that on social media, and it's like, okay, all right, and that's good. And I'm not saying telling you not to do it, but when you get into that fire, you get into that dark place, social media is not going to be able to bring you out of it. So that's why you got to be willing to do the work. You got to be willing to do the work and put yourself in front of the mirror. Look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, you can't be afraid to call yourself a fraud. You can't be afraid to own your stuff. Doesn't own your stuff and be accountable. And that, again, we go back to the question you asked me previously. Accountability, mindset, discipline, all of those things make up choosing yourself.
It definitely does. And I always say, nobody can tell your story like you.
That's
Like, do
it.
not be ashamed of your story. I try to promote as much as possible for people to open up and tell their story, because our stories is what connects us to each other.
As
Like
people, yep.
my story, if I wouldn't have told my story, I can't help the next person. We go through these things for a reason. And I
Right.
can't choose myself without choosing my mistakes as well. Like my mistakes is what made me. So I always caution people, be careful of the help that you seek, because certain mistakes you are supposed to make.
Right.
Certain mistakes are what help you grow into the person you're supposed to be. So stop trying to live so perfectly and avoid all of these mistakes when certain things we are supposed to go through. What do you think about that?
Some routes you're supposed to take. Because guess what? On some routes, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't skip the process. You can't skip the process, man. You can't skip steps in the process. Now again, sometimes mistakes you wish you would have made them. Man, it
Right.
cost me some money, or that I hurt that person, or this, that, and the other. But on the outside looking in, and you looking back on it, man, hindsight's 2020. You look out and say, you know what? I needed to go through that. I needed to be humble. I needed to, go back to my roots. I needed to get my spirituality correct. I needed all this stuff to happen so I could choose myself. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I wouldn't even been able to choose myself if I didn't do these things.
Right.
You know, so and that's why I stand at on mistakes, man. I think mistakes are definitely mistakes. I don't look at them as losses. I look at them as lessons. I mean, there's just nothing but lessons, man. And I done had a lot of lessons, and still gonna have some more. And just because we can be on this screen here talking, man, don't mean we won't go make a mistake tomorrow.
No, it doesn't mean
Yeah,
that. It doesn't mean that at all. And that's what it's about. We have to be able to make those mistakes and learn
right.
from them. That's what I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Like you said before, we're not perfect in any way like that. But the thing is, we have to
Right.
understand that no matter what we go through, our mistakes and this road that we're on is leading us to something greater.
Yeah, but I mean, and you gotta know that there's something greater coming along too in your mind. You gotta have a goal, and again, it goes back to goal setting, man. A lot of people just don't know how to set goals, but you gotta have something that you kind of working towards. Gotta have something that you're kind of striving towards, and it doesn't matter. And sometimes they don't even need to be broadcasted all over the world or all over
Right.
social media. But as long as you got something that you're working towards, man, kind of like when you ask me what gets you up out of bed in the morning, it's like, hey, the gym for me is something that is kind of, I was able to see some results. Like hey man, I came from this side, I came over here. So now I know the process works. So I know that on those days I want to sleep in, hey man, if you don't get up and you don't go to the gym, you ain't gonna be able to keep on having this process, being able to have these results that you get.
Oh, for sure. And that's the process that you go through. We have to go through that process, like you said before. And I think it's people, it's almost comical and disrespectful, how you can just try to jump to somebody else's level, not knowing all the levels that they've accomplished before they got to this level. Just for instance, like it would be crazy for me to jump in and say I'm on your level on a certain thing when you've been doing this for years on years, and just
Mhm.
because we relate in other areas means that I automatically should just jump to your level on certain things, and we have to be careful not to put ourselves in those positions.
Yep, and we have to be careful not to disrespect the process.
Mhm.
I tell people that all the time. It's like, you know, I'm not gonna just go in. You know, if I'm getting ready to say, hey, I want to be a realtor, somebody who's been doing this for 20 years, I just can't expect to have their knowledge because again, it's this thing called on the job training, man. You know, on the job training, all that kind of stuff, man. Experience matters. We can't just, we can't downplay experience that people have in certain areas. So all of that, I think, man, it's crazy that you don't need to skip steps in the process, but also at the same time as well, like I just said, you can't disrespect the process, man. And skipping steps is disrespecting the process. Thinking that you can skip steps is disrespecting the process.
It definitely is. And summing up this whole thing as far as choosing yourself, any last words for any people out there who's struggling with choosing themselves, or they've said, I'm choosing myself. I really don't know the steps from here. They may be in that accountability phase where they're not being accountable. Maybe they're lacking discipline. They've always struggled with that. They're having a hard time changing their mindset. Like, how would you help them right now with that?
First things first, man. Every day's gonna be a battle. Every day's gonna be a battle, and in battle, you're gonna have some good points in battle, some high points and some low points. You just keep showing up and keep fighting. Um, and number two is just knowing that it's okay to do whatever. And when I mean whatever, I mean whatever is necessary to protect your peace and protect your journey, and to choose yourself and protect your happiness. And you have to be okay with all this stuff. But again, it goes back to keep showing up and keep fighting. If you're not disciplined, it's okay. Pray about it. Again, pray about the opportunity to be disciplined. Again, when we pray about things and things happen, boom, God is just not gonna sprinkle discipline. Oh, it's a package of discipline like Amazon Prime
Right.
at your door. It's not gonna happen like that. Situations are gonna come, and it's gonna allow you to say, hey, you was praying about this discipline. Here's a situation that you got to be disciplined, right? Here's
Right.
a situation where you got to do this. So again, all of those things you need to keep showing up, keep fighting, and be okay with choosing you. I mean, be okay with doing whatever's necessary, man. Doing the work, keep fighting, keep showing up. And that's the two things. To sum it up for me is keep showing up and keep fighting. And if you don't think it's a fight, then you're on the wrong journey. You're on
I
the
agree.
wrong journey, because it's going to be a knockout, drag out fight each and every day for you to choose yourself.
I agree. I agree. And to close that out, I would like to add, just try to be as consistent as possible. Just be
Mhm.
consistent, no matter what. And what these spaces are is that we're just trying to give you some of our energy. We're just passing some of our energy along to you in hopes that something rubs off. And don't get me wrong, we're still learning every day. This process is a never-ending journey. Don't think for ends, it never stops. But just understand that we're just trying to pass on something that we went through to help you get through it. We're just doing our part. So hey, that wraps up another one. We'll be back next week. Give me
Next
some
week.
space.
All right, man. I enjoyed it. Next week.